Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of It's a DARMAR. Today I have Mike JELINEK. You already know him. He's an amazing designer that did car design, industrial design, then he moved to movies, worked on a great movie that you all know. It's called Terminator, and now he is using also VR to create amazing stuff. I called him today because I think VR is present, it's future for sure of this industry, and Mike's gonna talk about it today. Hi Mike.
Hello, guys.
How are you,
Glad to
man?
be here.
I'm
Really excited to receive that invitation. Darko,
great.
it's awesome to be here. Thanks, man.
I'm super happy to have you join, man, because we're gonna talk about something that's already a present, but it's becoming future of this industry, and I'm sure that many people want to hear about VR and your approaches and how you do it all.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to share, my journey to VR. And hold on, I need to close down my Facebook here because people keep asking me questions right now. Sorry about that.
Sure. No worries, no worries. We have
Okay,
time.
so interesting. All right, so I'll be more than happy to share my journey to VR and hopefully give you some answers for the questions you may have because it's not kind of a straight. Maybe it's a straight line in the end. How did I make it into VR as a tool that I use for creating my stuff?
Hmm.
But it
Yeah.
makes sense to kind of explain it.
Yeah, because we met in Prague and we met on THU this year, and
Hmm.
you did their talk with Vacuum and you show off your skills and how you do it. And I'm always impressed when I see it. And because of you and the Vacuum stand, I decided to buy a VR headset and start doing it a little bit because. Man, it's amazing to see your stuff being created in front of you and move through it and feel it. It's totally different thing than designing in 3D or in 2D. So
Yeah, that's actually the thing because you're literally inside the object or the design you're creating and
skills.
you interact with it. So it's really amazing to go that way.
Uh, I want to hear about your backstory and how this all started because you showed me some stuff on the THU and other, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I saw in my life. And I would like to see it now and show it to the guests. How did it start? What did you study? Did you always draw? That's the
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. So it's funny because people love giving to other people, giving them names, and I'm known to be digitally positive for last 10 years or whatever, and people gave me names that I'm a digital man or VR man. But before that, they used to call me a sketch Mike because I was known for doodling everywhere and every time and all this and I could annoy people with sketching everywhere.
Hmm.
And the thing is that the kind of using digital tools it evolved from my passion to create things manually using my hands. And in a way, it started a long, long time ago. Let me just give you an example, but promise you won't laugh. So,
Oh, I
my
can't
mom.
promise.
Okay, so my mom gave me this. Um, I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. And as you can see, I was really intelligent person because I was drawing a comic story about the snail
Mm.
riding a skateboard and flying spaceships. How that is.
I love that, man. When I saw it first time, I was like, this is the coolest thing I ever saw. Like, I love the snails. I told you why I love them so much. And this is so cool. You are super intelligent to do this kind of stuff because honestly, somebody who is not intelligent, they can do this kind of stuff. This is imagination, man, from the start. Like,
So that's how it started. Spaceships, skateboards, and snails.
snails, they're cool, man. They're
Oh,
cool.
absolutely.
I like how he is, you can see that he is driving fast his skateboard. And I was always wondering, did they also think fast and do that kind of stuff fast? That was my there is ha ha ha. Also, I remember that when I saw it.
Yeah, yeah. It's so this is how it started. In that time, I was doing a lot of those comic books, basically drawing them and sharing them in the school.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, this is probably the only one that I could find that I could discover again. All of them are lost. I think I did a number of those with colored pencils as well, but they are all gone because they went from hand to hand and they just disappeared somewhere. So it's kind of pity, but come on, that's enough for nostalgia.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, to be honest. I always like to see that backstory of the person, what's happening, and what did they do, because that's what shaped them literally, and it's always inspiring to see that kind of stuff. You can see you're doing snails, but already you were interested in transportation. I can see you're doing skateboards, you're doing spaceships. Already you were forming as an artist back then, you know.
I guess so, yeah. That also kind of illustrates my passion to technology because you can see here kind of an old school computer here, and I don't know what these things are. There's a technology everywhere. It's a kind of a frog attacking the snail, if I remember well. Okay, that's enough.
That evil frogs. I knew they were evil always.
All right, but here's something that I want to share with you. These are samples from my sketchbook. These are quite old, but they kind of nicely illustrate what I was doing. These are mostly analog,
Nice.
but I've included some of the digital sketches later then as well, because they nicely show how you can kind of move from analog to digital without losing that kind of a spiritual component of your sketching, the emotional part, the analog feel. So these are, I don't know, like 2000 to 2004, 5. Some of them are maybe even older.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. By the way, these are, I was working for Skoda, and in 2002, I've decided to leave Skoda and go freelancing for a while. And I was one of the first few people having a portfolio at Car Design News website. Really? And based on that portfolio, I got a job request. I've got the job offer from Nike from Portland for the eyewear department. So these are the sketches from 2003, and that was basically my work for Nike. Well, actually, examples from it. And these are fully digital, by the way.
I can see it's this is Elias sketchbook, isn't it?
That's before sketchbook. These were drawn with, if I remember well, with Alias. Because Alias, that actually might be even older. No, that must be the time. Alias as a 3D modeling software had for the first time, roughly that time, the sketching functionality integrated in.
Yeah.
It was based on a technology coming from a program called Studio Paint, which was requiring those silicon graphics machines, machines for like $200,000.
Yeah,
super expensive.
I remember how much it costed. It was the most expensive software in the world, like 80,000 or something that.
Yeah.
Did you use Elias before, like for modeling and stuff like that?
Yes. Actually,
oh my
yes.
God, you're a legend. You're a legend. Then that's the hardest software ever to master.
Well, no, it goes quite quickly under the skin. And for me, that's a good question, by the way, you just made, because it must be roughly at that time when it was probably before, maybe something like 99, 2000, when I saw an Alias presentation run by Christophe Dupont, who was Alias a demo artist, demo designer at that time. He became a Renault, a chief designer at the Renault later, so quite talented person, amazing person. And he basically did a sketch of a hairdryer at the front of us, and then he started to model the thing in Alias in real time, just at front of the small audience at the Czech Design Center at that time. And it was really amazing, and it was really a life-changing experience because I was leaving that presentation with, I want to do that too. And that's how I started, to use computers for sketching and modeling. Although I had some experience with computers before, that was the kind of the breaking moment, the milestone. It was so amazing to see someone mastering the tool.
It's always fascinating when you see someone when you are young and you don't know much, and then you see someone doing it and he inspires you. For me, that kind of I feel like that kind of moments are like destiny, literally destiny that you need
Absolutely.
to see. I was hooked on Alias, and I thought it was the only software in the world before I learned about polygonal modeling. And I saw Isuzu commercial. Isuzu was one of the brands that was a commercial for Alias. And then fast I tried to model a head in Alias, and I was frustrated, man. But then I learned there is polygonal modeling.
Yeah.
So,
So here are some more sketches.
what
These
did you
are
study? What did you study? That's what I'm interested. You studied
ah,
industrial and car design, right?
well, yeah, but not from the very start because I've originally aspired to be an artist. So I went through kind of basic education on traditional painting, oil on canvas, sketching, drawing, figures, and that was my big passion. I even made few exhibitions with canvases. I still do have some artwork here in my studio from those days, and I even managed to sell one or two canvases. And being young, I was really excited about it that someone is really keen on my artwork and that they buy my canvases. Until I
Nice.
realized that the person who actually purchased the most expensive canvas, he made the decision based on the color of the canvas because it was matching the color of his sofa.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I got my heart broken, and I decided that what I'm playing, what kind of game I'm playing to myself, that I'm just an expensive decorator, and I've decided to kind of keep my passion for sketching and creating things and orient more on something, let's say, useful. So I've started to deal with design. So I went through the Academy of Arts and Design in Slovakia
Mm.
to study transportation design. I was at the school and I was already working for Skoda. That's kind of a funny moment.
So you worked and you studied at the same time.
Yeah.
Impressive. That's impressive. Also, now when you said that you were a painter, I didn't know that. But now when I think of it, when I look at your VR stuff and your it's very colorful. It's very colorful now when I think of it. Plus, there is a function. So I'm very happy that you moved to concept art because I think it suits you much better. And it would be great loss of talent if you didn't do it. But yeah, there is very colorful. Do you think that impacted you a lot because somebody told you that it was matching with their sofa?
Say it again, please.
Did it impact you to think differently about art when somebody said,
Oh
"Well,
yeah.
yeah, okay."
In a way, kind of killed my ability to understand and accept art, and it took me years to open myself again. I still struggle with certain artwork, having problems to accept it, not to understand it, but to accept it. But that's another story.
We had that kind of discussion about color with the design manager in car design, and he said, I had my design chief. This stuck for me forever. He said, I had my design chief, and he never picked my sketches, and then I started to analyze him, and I realized he really likes green color. And I started putting green color on every artwork of mine, and my artwork was always in top 3, and I was like, oh my god. It's so illogical and logical at the same time.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I had a short episode working for Volkswagen Design Center located in Potsdam, and it was an amazing team. Just incidentally, I was sharing the same room with the person whose name is Daniel Simon.
Oh my god.
And all those things you're just describing, just creating a grayscale illustration of an exterior of the car and putting a kind of a vibrant, striking yellow or orange color, that was a kind of a safe bet on attracting the attention of the design managers. So all those dirty tricks, they were always played, and it's always part of the arsenal.
I see.
Which is not fair, but that's the way it is.
It's always reading your client, maybe your design chief, art manager, producer, but it's always reading their mind, what they like. So yeah. So
by the way, this is the image you watch right now.
Yeah.
This is an example of my meeting doodles.
Okay.
So whenever I'm in a meeting, I just fill my sketchbook with these kind of small drones and spaceships and vehicles. But these are happening not intentionally with a goal to create an artwork. They're basically to kind of survive a boring meeting full of Excels and presentations.
Okay. I like this vibe of this. They're very cool. They're very, very cool and unique. A lot of them I can see in Star Wars, like a bot. Yeah, they are very, very.
I cannot hide the inspiration. And
Oh, nice, nice. Is it the one that you drive, or it's just
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, okay. I want that.
Yeah, I've married a fantastic person, so who gave me that as a birthday present.
I see.
So I got to be grateful to my wife.
Yeah, that's super nice from her. Tell me, so you like to sketch? That's
Mhm.
obvious. We talked in the beginning, and I love that you like to sketch because for me, sketches are expression of the soul of the artist. Look at these sketches, guys; they are freaking awesome and very car design, industrial design like. So for me, it was always expression of the soul. If I want to know how good an artist is, I always tell him, "Show me your sketches." And what do you think about that stuff? Do you think that sketches really represent soul, or you have a different opinion of them?
Absolutely. I would even go even further with explaining why the sketches are that important.
Hmm.
In a way, sketches are representing what our thinking process is, what
Yeah.
is our visual library, what our experiences is, how we make decisions, what kind of priorities we have. So the sketches are really important in terms of personality and also creative abilities. Even though they're not always, fantastic artwork, they do have a lot of information hidden in it.
Mm.
And it's all about the decision making and design process, design thinking, experiences, the ability to make choices,
Yeah.
and rediscover in your own work. So the sketches are ultimately important.
Mm. The biggest problem that every artist has is translating sketch to 3D, and I never saw artists having problem translating 3D to 3D. It was always these sketches are amazing. I mean, that top sketch, I love it, man. I love it
Thanks, man.
with white around the wheels. Amazing, amazing values. I love it. So that sketch, I know it. It was it on Simcom?
Could be,
I
could
think it
be.
is on Simcom. You remember Simcom, guys? If you don't know what Simcom is, it's the site like ArtStation. It was just only for car design sketches, one of the best, and it was like the highest award to be there. And I know these sketches; they're amazing. They're amazing. Like,
They still exist. It's run by Marek Simko,
yeah.
amazing guy, living in Austria, related to Kiska design.
Hmm.
And if you give me half a minute, I can run down in my studio and show you the magazine they're publishing from time to time.
Yeah, sure, we can do it. We can do it.
Okay,
Absolutely,
1 minute.
absolutely. I will entertain the public until you come.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I will get naked now and show my body. Okay, I'm just joking. But yeah, Simcom was when I was a car designer, still is. It's the website where everybody wanted to be. So you weren't successful designer until you were on the Simcom, because some of the best sketches there, and I will post on the link. I also met Marek, and he's doing amazing job with that because he's not choosing just some random sketches. He's choosing the sketches that have personality. And literally when you open them, you feel the energy flow of them. So I'll post the link while Mike comes. So let me find Simcom, and it's amazing sketch site. Everybody should see it, even concept artists, because they really show the personality. Here it is. I'm posting you guys in the comments so you can see it. Mike is coming. I can hear him
Yes.
climb. Hello.
Almost there.
Nice. I've been
So you
making.
got to understand, this is my studio is a two stories. So I need to jump down the stairs and climb up. So this is the envelope which includes the magazine.
Can you make the camera bigger, the Skype, because it's small on the screen? Just bigger.
Yeah.
Because you are on the right corner because of the stream. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So, and that's the magazine.
Yeah. Look at this, guys. Look at
And
the
it's
power.
like a A2, A3 size, high quality print. It goes as a limited edition, and it always contains it's a curated selection of car design sketches. So these are these kind of things.
Yeah. Oh my God, so cool.
Some of the really amazing stuff.
Dope. like dope.
Yeah,
I when I see this kind of stuff,
those are awesome.
when I see this kind of stuff, I literally get shakes in my body when I see how good they are. Pencil sketches, I mean, crazy. I had one of the best guys I knew
So
with
this is my page. That's what that's my stuff.
dope, dope. Look at these guys. It's amazing, amazing.
Here, a few more.
Oh my god, this is so cool. By the way,
So, but it's really unique. So if you unfold it, it's like an A2.
yeah, it's really
They do
great.
it like once in 2 years, once in a year.
Yeah. So you entered in one of the best sketches. You are there. That's really high
I
achievement.
still feel privileged, and I still consider that it was probably a random mistake they made with me.
I'm sure they chose you with purpose. I'm sure.
I think we're just friends with Marek. So
Yeah, there is also that possibility. But
yeah,
yeah,
but with that said, I mean this is kind of nicely showing the other part of design process when you move over from sketching as a tool that helps you to generate the ideas to something that is possible to share that image with that idea with someone else, and it is readable, it is easy to understand. So I don't call them sketches anymore, I call them rather design illustrations.
okay.
And in a way it's a different process than those sketches I was showing earlier.
Yeah.
So let me just a few more. These are really old as well. These are sketches down there.
Was that
These are
Photoshop?
again
Photoshop, or it was a Alias sketchbook?
Elias, all of it. These two on top there are Photoshop. This is Photoshop, and kind of the airbrush distribution here and there.
Yeah.
These were Alias. That's the sketching, the painting part of Alias. It was called sketching in design.
Yeah, that's I can see by the lines. Alias had some high quality lines, high
Mhm.
quality lines, like super nice stuff.
This is Alias.
Oh, nice,
Right
nice.
over.
I love this. Great shapes.
These are also some kind of older. It's like a 2004 or 3.
Very
Also
cool.
Alias. So it's a kind of another type of work I used to do.
Who was
Not
your
that much.
inspiration? Who was your inspiration with these
Oh,
sketches?
it's Sid Me, definitely.
Okay. Yes.
And yeah, Möbius, of course, is for art, and Daniel Simon, definitely. He's a master of illustration and sketching. So I would lie to myself if I wouldn't mention his name.
Daniel is
Today,
a beast.
also Mr. Stalinak.
Ah, okay.
He's doing some great stuff.
Yeah.
Just got another of his books out right now. I have 3 of his books. Another Simon.
Nice. Yeah.
So this is something that led into this kind of artwork,
Okay.
which ended up as official Autodesk calendar in 2013, I guess.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, I love this. I love this.
And because I had them on my portfolio at Core 77, earned probably the biggest compliment in my life, which was this.
Oh. Wow.
It was 2011, even older.
Wow.
That was just, I was celebrating like for a week.
Champagne and everything. But I know this. I didn't know this was you. I know this. I remember it on Core 77. I remember this looking at it.
Yeah, Autodesk actually acquired some of those images, and they were using them on some of the boxes of their products.
Awesome.
On a sketchbook designer, and so on.
Awesome. Yeah, this. I remember this. That's when I was finishing my car design masters. Yeah, that was then, and I was showing this to everybody because it wasn't car design; it was concept design already then. Because you know how car designers are mostly like concept art. They don't like it. It inspires them, but they mostly don't like it. They're like, cars are cars. So yeah, great stuff.
So I want to bridge it with this image because I was having a dinner and a beer with a friend of mine who happened to be designer at Mercedes at that time. So I was giving him this calendar, and he stopped by that image, and he started kind of to pinch me that having a fantasy is one thing, but being a designer, it kind of requires building the stuff and making it happen. And we had a kind of an argument that he said that it's not feasible and so on. So I got kind of pissed off,
Okay.
and it ended up that I started to build it.
I didn't know that was the backstory, but these guys,
Yeah.
you will see you will see something amazing here. Like this is insane stuff, insane stuff.
So this is like that was like a first prototype. I used to call it redneck Segway
Okay, okay,
because it was like an all-road, all-season Segway type of a vehicle,
yeah.
a bit more powerful. And here are just a couple of the sketches I made through the process of creating it. So I had even that crazy idea to have like front tracks and like a motorcycle crazy thing or snowblower attached to it. So that one ended up basically with this prototype,
Okay. Oh,
which is
time. I'm super sorry. I was enjoying, and I'm still enjoying, and I hope we will continue from here.
I guess it's a good thing that technology reminds us how much relying we are on it, how much we depend on it.
It's true. It's true. Absolutely true. I agree.
But I guess once we will have the whole session done, the recording will be intact.
No, it just continues. He literally, that's what's good thing about today's modern technology, that it reconnected and we continued like nothing happened.
Awesome, that's perfect. So let's pretend nothing happened.
I will pretend, and then I will call them and tell them I will kill them or something like that, as I usually do. So we are back. I apologize truly, guys. And Mike was showing us this amazing vehicle, and I hope that the internet won't die again. So let's continue, please. This vehicle looks dope, and the story about it was that Mike got pissed off because his fellow artist told him that the good design needs to be made. It's not, if it's not made, it's not design.
Yeah. So that's where we actually ended. This is sort of a result of a process that was following that discussion during that dinner and beer drinking session. So it evolved into this vehicle, which was aimed to help or serve, to, let's say, rescue teams or firefighters, to have a vehicle that can basically tow a heavy load while having a very small footprint, which could be operated with one arm, one hand, and can bring, goods or items or tools up to the stairs or basically in any terrain. And it would probably be useful for, agriculture or farming or forestry and so on. So we made that prototype. We also, because I wasn't working on that alone, I actually convinced a few other people that they're more skilled in building these things like welding and laser cutting and stuff like that. So they were helping me out to build it together. And the idea was that this is like the leading vehicle, but you can put another few vehicles behind it, and they will, because of built-in intelligence, they will basically follow it in its track. So you can rescue people from the area of a disaster and so on.
I see.
And it was an interesting moment because I've managed to meet with a potential investor who would be interested in building it. And that gentleman flew in from Hong Kong just to give me a life lesson.
To give you a life lesson?
Yes, because he said it's really cool. It really makes sense. He can see the numbers that it's going to work, but it's not going to be working. And I was like, what's going on there? And then he gave me this story. The economy goes up and down every time.
Okay.
Whenever the transportation, such as air travel, booms out, it's usually another component of the global economy that suffers at the same time. So whenever the automotive segment goes up, sometimes it's the forestry or agriculture that is suffering. And when the automotive segment is going down, there's electronics that booms, and so on and so on. So all of the industries, all of the economic segments, they basically run in sort of a sinus wave. In waves, they go up and down, with one exception. There's one industry that doesn't suffer There is no economical crisis that attacks it. Do you know what kind of industry it is?
Space or military?
No.
No.
It's the industry where there's porn,
Ah, okay.
gaming, alcohol, and drugs. It's called entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the most luxury goods were actually sold during the so-called economical crisis in 2012.
Hmm.
So he said, "Hey, Mike, this is really cool, but make it jump, and it's gonna be hit."
Okay. Okay. Smart. Smart.
So you know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah. I.
So, and I was quite fortunate to meet people in a similar situation. They were based in Australia, and they actually held patents to something really, really crazy. And they were looking for a partner, for a designer who will be able to help them to bring it into a tangible form. And thing is, hold on, I need to move here. It looks like this.
Damn.
This is basically a snowboard with two pairs of tracks. There's an engine in each track unit. So it looks like that. There should be a compression. How big it is? There's a huge battery inside.
Yeah.
Each motor is like 5 kilowatts, so it's really powerful. They're rubber tracks. They're kind of a special technology. There's a patent on the tracks because the technology behind this is just something insane. There are shock absorbers. They stabilize the whole thing when you ride it on a harsh terrain.
Okay.
And here's the compression when you put the snowboard next to it. So it's really almost a compact size. However, there's a certain way it's got a momentum and it's quite powerful. And here should be, yeah, that's me riding in the snow last winter.
Nice. Nice.
So I'm not allowed officially to say where we are with the project right now.
Okay.
What's going on there? There's a lot of things happening right now, but we need to be patient with this project to kind of reach the next level. But it's a great fun, and it's just to illustrate that it's not just the images. It's not about the images that that are important for designer or concept artist or concept designer. It's the way that you make those proposals tangible, that someone can really make them happen, that someone make them produce or usable.
Yeah. This is on a whole next level because when you are designing something, producing, it's much harder. My big respect for this, and it looks awesome. I remember when you posted these images and stuff, and it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Look at it. It's a technology, it's design, it's everything. It's fresh, it's new. I mean, great stuff. Industrial design.
Thanks, man.
Industrial design. Porn.
There's a funny thing that all that experience with making things in a physical form became really useful when I got that offer to work on a Terminator with Tim Miller.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I cannot say too much. I cannot show any images. But the thing is that something I've created or I've designed was partially built as a physical prop and used for certain activity in the movie. So all that experience was suddenly paying off because I knew how to approach these things from tangible perspective, from manufacturability, from the feasibility, and so on.
So you worked on Terminator, which is insane, and I want to ask you now that we mentioned that, what is the difference for you between car design, industrial design, and movie design? Is there a big difference for you, or it overlaps? It's similar? What kind of?
It is definitely similar. In a way, it's the same thing. You get to create a thing or an object or product, which I love that. I don't know who I'm quoting here because it's not something that I have said or I have created the quote, but it nicely describes kind of design philosophy. So whenever you design anything, whenever you come with a new idea, the result should be not just useful, but it has to be usable. And last but not least, it has to be desirable. And that applies on the movie as well. So if the design must be usable, it must be usable in the context of the movie. So if there are some stunts happening with that product, with that prop, the people must fit in. It must be usable. That means that the people, they will perform the stunts or the acting inside, they have to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be safe in order to avoid injuries and so on and so on. And of course, it needs to appeal to a camera, so it should be desirable. So in my point of view, there's not a big difference between car design, transportation design, product design, or entertainment design. It's just the function or primary function of the objects you are creating that is slightly changing from the industry to industry. But the process is almost entirely the same.
I see, and I agree on that. I mean, they overlap. What is fascinating to me, you started in 2002, and now when you look at the industries in 2002, the industries, they were very different industries. They were similar, but everybody knew that they were different. Now they are literally overlapping. I don't know which industry is which. Literally, like, do you have also that kind of opinion now when you started 2002 and now how much it changed?
So can you repeat the question? I didn't
Do you
hear
have an
the-
opinion that industries are much more overlapping now than they used to in
Oh,
2002?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we could actually observe the trend over the last, I don't know, 10 years. I remember when car designers, they were deeply observing what's going on in game design in order to learn from the way how designers for games approach the user interfaces for spaceships or vehicles they were used for games or movies, because they were basically presenting tangible solutions that could be used in a different context. And on the other side, the people I know that they work successfully for game design or movie design, they are usually trained as car designers originally. That's kind of an interesting thing. I think Ben Mauro did transportation design. Daniel Simons did transportation design as well.
Yeah.
There are a few more people that we could name that they actually shared the same kind of experience.
True, because car design has a specific way of learning you the shapes language, and then there are some car designers that like technology.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, no worries. I think it's the best combination when car designer likes also technology, because the car designer, I always mention that car designers like to build stuff, but they like to build existing cars and to play with proportion. Concept artists are something, I call it blend between car design, industrial design, and movie art. Literally something like that.
So
here is the trailer of Terminator Dark Fate.
yeah. I just wanna.
Oh my god, she kicked his ass.
Oh yeah. And there she is.
Yeah.
Can't say more.
Okay, you saw enough, guys. 1 millisecond. Oh my god, it looks amazing.
Yeah, and you can imagine how happy I was when I saw it in that short trial.
How long were you celebrating this time? 3 weeks?
Oh, I'm still celebrating.
Yeah, it's a huge
Every day
achievement.
is like a paradise from that moment.
How did the collaboration for Terminator happen? How did they find you? How did they contact you?
It's kind of funny because I've coincidentally put the ArtStation right now on the screen, and Tim Miller actually contacted me through ArtStation. So this is probably the amazing advertisement for ArtStation, because Tim wrote me a message through the ArtStation.
Nice. So he's there. We need to hunt him.
Absolutely, he's there, and not just him. Because the week he gave me that inquiry, gave me that offer, there were another few people from the movie industry asking me for my availability. So they watch, and that's another thing, because sometimes they watch for universal skills, and like in my case, they were looking for something specific that is not, let's say, mainstream in a way, which turns out in most cases to be a disadvantage, because once you have a style which is too unique, it might be difficult to blend in with the intentions of directors or producers. But on the other side, if they look for something specific, you might have a chance.
Yeah. That's speaking about ArtStation, a commercial about ArtStation. I was talking with Daniel Wade and Kevin Strike on THU, where we 200,000, something like that. And actually, they didn't tell me. Darko told me that I was talking about them, and he mentioned it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, how many people are there? And then we were talking that there is a lot of art directors and producers on there, which is amazing. So if you want to be seen, guys, you heard from Mike, be seen on ArtStation. That's the place to be.
Definitely do it.
Yeah.
It's also about the way you structure the portfolio. This is another conversation I had just recently with some university students, and they are all kind of talking about their dreams to make it into film industry, or to work for a specific brand and so on.
Yeah.
And they all had a portfolio which was full of the school work, some of their personal work, but none of this was actually related to their dreams.
Yeah.
So that was my answer. Like, guys, you want to design spaceships, but there's no single spaceship in your portfolio. You get chosen by the content of your portfolio, not by your dreams. So if you want to draw spaceships, it's that stupid. Just make your portfolio full of spaceships. It does make sense because it shows what you're capable of in that specific area.
That's a great advice. That's a really, really great advice. And I love that you mentioned this, because many people are lost in this industry. They don't know what to do, literally. And that's a great advice. If you want something, you go for it. You don't go around it, as most people do.
Yeah.
Great advice. I love it.
That's kind of a downside of it as well, because if you did, vacuum cleaners as your school projects and they were good, so the chance you'll end up doing vacuum cleaners for the rest of your life is pretty big.
It happens to a lot of people. I know people, professional ones, that work in industry, and then they started doing some fun stuff just to relax their brain. Turns out people really like it, and now they're doing that. And even though they don't like it, they're doing that because they were putting that in portfolio. And they get stuck in the money thing. They're like, I'm paid really good. I'm doing this now. I'm unhappy, but I'm paid good. It happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What I want to talk about now, you like to sketch, and your name on Instagram is Metasketcher.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, because that's the main subject of this stream.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it makes sense.
I think it's the present and the future. As I said, I saw you working on vacuum booth. You were doing there VR, and it opened my mind. I can tell you, I'm buying mine in Berlin now. When I go to playgrounds, I'm getting mine, and yeah, it's like insane to see your concept in person, literally to look at it.
So for me, let's start with meta sketching.
Yeah.
The word meta, known from, let's say, metaphysics, is from the old Greek, and they were naming metaphysics. They had a name. They were using that name for everything that was beyond physics.
Okay.
So that's why I've kind of decided to abuse that expression to put that sketching, the sketching you were watching, you were observing in the beginning of this session, the stuff I was showing you, my doodles and my sketchbooks, that sketching, I wanted to put beyond just physical medium of a paper. And I was looking for a different medium, and I couldn't reach the same level of the freedom with Alias or Maya or Blender, because simply it's a different modality. It's a different way how you approach creating things. Pushing points, adding objects, combining objects, it's fantastic, but it's not following the same kind of a mental flow as you experience when you sketch.
Yeah.
And then VR came in, and I was like living a dream, because I tried Tilt Brush, and recently I'm using Gravity Sketch a lot. And I find out that the kind of the gestural freedom, the ability to express myself with basically all my body, it's the experience that is really comparable to what you experience when you sketch on paper. There's that gestural freedom. There's the freedom of the motion. And I find out actually that to ideate, to create and generate the ideas in VR is just insanely efficient. However, there are some limitations. The visual representations of the strokes and surfaces and objects, they're still kind of a computer-ish, CG-ish. But the way you produce them, it is very intuitive and
Start streaming. Let me just check.
Mhm.
Too much disrespect, guys. Too much. I mean, nobody can hear me, but too much disrespect to Mike because this stream is freaking awesome, and I'm enjoying it so much so far. And now this happens for the second time, and he doesn't want to catch up. Oh my god, I will kill myself literally. But I have idea how we're gonna fix this.
No worries.
No, I'm really sorry for this. Let me just check. Sync to the player. Let me just... Okay, finally we are back. And now this
Cool.
Finally we are back. I mean, guys, this is one of the funnest streams I had so far, and the internet dying and stuff like that. I apologize truly, Mike. I'll cut out these pieces. So we were talking about meta sketching. I hope the internet's not gonna die because they decided to fix it today at this time. They didn't give us a notice. I hope it won't die. I want to hear about this because I'm super interested in this and it looks amazing. So please, Mike, let's
So
continue.
I mean, just what is happening with the internet is probably that AI already sense what we are doing here,
We are showing.
and we are labeled as dangerous now.
Oh, okay, I understand that. I hope.
So I'll just briefly repeat what we were discussing
Yeah.
before we got cut out. So I did really enjoy the gestural freedom and all that kind of a sketchy feel when you create, when you draw, when you sculpt in VR. But the results, the visual quality wasn't there. So I was thinking how to combine kind of the convincing two-dimensional output with the gestural freedom.
Yeah.
And so I started to play with Keyshot and Blender, just throwing the data straight from Gravity Sketch, an example, or Tilbrush earlier, and just splat on some colors and then paint over in Photoshop and other tools. So these are actually the results. The total time for such a creation is about half an hour, 40 minutes. So it is a little bit longer than the time you would spend on sketching. However, there's a big advantage of such a process. It's like in this example, which is a bit more kind of a colder and more defined. So it nicely illustrates the advantage of creating and sketching in VR because you get multiple views for free.
Yeah.
And that's for design really important. It's not as important when you're a painter or illustrator, when you're focusing on one two-dimensional image. But being a designer, you're not selling an image. You're selling a vision which is tangible. You're selling an idea which exists in three-dimensional space. So it's not existing only in one view, in one perspective. That's why I really think that designing in virtual reality and getting the all out of views, getting basically the three dimensions for free, it's just a great advantage of such a process.
Yeah.
Like this car. So you can see it's still sketch. It's got a lot of kind of feel of being a sketch, being kind of wild, undefined, sketchy, loosey, but at the same time, it's already three-dimensional.
But it shows everything that it needs to show as a design. Yeah. Everybody can read it, and immediately the modelers can model it, and director can see it, producer, everybody, which is the important, as you said, is a design.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
So I've started to create these kind of things. That was, by the way, one of the funny projects as well. So this is like a lab-grown meat for the hunters in the future. So if you want to hunt your meat, but there will be no animals that you'll be allowed to kill, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
But you'll still like that kind of a emotion of fight and hunt. So you will have this kind of robotic creature that wears the synthetic meat so you can hunt your meat.
That's actually a really cool idea. I mean, somebody should create this. I'm sure
we're not too far from there.
Yeah, definitely. But it's now when you told me, I didn't know that was the idea for that, but it's a crazy good idea. I mean, that hunting in the people spirit, it will always be there. But this kind of, we can avoid some bad things that happen during it. Yeah.
So here's another one. Is the image you use for the teaser?
Yeah, I love this one.
And this is one of the games I was playing when I was younger. It was called Doom. So it's one of the key creatures that could maybe exist in the Doom universe.
Yeah.
It's all done with Gravity Sketch. It's really quick doodle. I've used a skull which was downloaded from one of the free libraries. I don't know who did it, so I apologize for not crediting that person.
It's
But everything else is being, these are basically freehand strokes with the texture mapped on it.
so what
It's
is
kind
the
of satisfying.
it truly is, especially when you said it's Doom. I can totally imagine it in Doom World. I remember it, and it was one of the first games that attracted me as a kid. It was like something totally fresh. But what is for you the main advantage of VR over 3D? And what are the disadvantages? But let's talk first about advantages.
hmm I think it's primarily the freedom you have when you create these things.
It's fast also, right?
It's also very fast,
Yeah.
and there's one main component of it, and you will probably agree with me. Being a designer or graphic designer or an artist in general requires to sit on your meat for like 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And using VR basically liberates you from the desk. It gives you
Oh.
the freedom to move again
Oh,
and spend part of the day by creating in the space.
I didn't think of that, but now when you said it, that's very smart to think of. Like, yeah, true, true. Finally, you can get off the chair that we are all suffering from all the time. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, great point.
With that, there's an interesting thing. You know, over the last few years, I'm also organizing or hosting workshop where I teach or explain to people about virtual reality, how useful it is in a content creation context.
Yeah,
And I find out that for a lot of people, that physical activity is not comfortable anymore.
really.
They do suffer to stand. They prefer to sit on the chair and do kind of almost micro movements with the controllers. And that made me actually think again about our own bodies, and it reminded me back about our physicality and how important our bodies is, how bodies are when we create things, which is creating a nice bridge to what I was hoping that we will talk as well. And it's my deep interest in what's happening in our brain and with our bodies when we create things, when we sketch, when we produce the ideas. And I find out, and the latest neuroscience basically confirms these assumptions, that we think through our bodies. And that's also why the sketching is so important, because it is basically the most natural example of the way how we externalize our thinking process. We basically think on paper. And the same thing happens when you are in VR, because you use your body to express yourself. So you are engaging more than just, visual perception and your gestures. You're engaging your full body. And this is really important when you create concepts like that.
I see. I see. Very interesting point. I mean, yeah. There is more energy flowing. I can say it like that. Definitely more energy flowing with VR. Not just brain and arm. It's more than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see. And where do you think the VR is gonna go from here? What's the future of it?
That's a very good question. I do have a few theories where we can go with that.
Okay.
And let me start with that I'm mostly a techno-optimistic person.
Okay.
I do believe that technology may help us to live better lives and that the future might be bright, although it doesn't look like at this very moment. But at the same time, I believe in the human and its abilities, that we still haven't discovered our potential in a full dimension, in a full scale. So all those ideas of wiring the human brain, having something like a matrix type of a plug that connects you to metaverse, I think it's utter bullshit and nonsense. And it's not really required, because we are already capable of interacting with digital realities in better ways than having a direct connection through the wires.
Yeah.
So I believe that we can evolve, or we can learn, we can be trained and educated in interacting better with digital realities even more efficiently, and even without drilling into our bodies.
Mm. Yeah. There is that possibility for sure. I mean, now when you said we can train our bodies, I truly believe that we can train our bodies for anything, because 20 years ago there was no mobile phone, and now mobile phone, literally you're using your fingers in totally different manner than 20
Yeah.
years ago. Totally different. I mean, I think we developed different muscles and joints now, literally from them.
Yeah.
What is that vehicle? I love it. Botka teleproject.
I think this is something that has been viral for a while.
Yeah.
Or I've even seen it as a clickbait image for a porn site. Someone was really trying to attract the traffic by using that image. But it's a part of. By the way, it's being executed in a tangible and producible form as well.
Mm.
It went again a bit further on. This is greetings to my friends in LA.
Okay.
But it is just moving forward, and I cannot reveal yet where we go with that. But the thing is that it was originally a part of some kind of my IP that is called Machines of Adventure.
Okay.
I can talk about later. So I've designed a couple of the flying vehicles. They belong to that universe, that work, which is happening in Arctic. Maybe there are some more images as well where we are. Yeah, let me just jump here because there's a website called machinesofadventure.com,
Oh, nice.
and it's an attempt to build a story around this universe and IP. So it's really simple. It's more like a concept, more like a pitch or a draft for a story that is happening behind the whole universe of Machines of Adventure.
Interesting.
Just to give you a brief pitch, it's all related to, expanding our ability to perceive the world through drones and VR and stuff like that. And there's a bit of the mystery happening meanwhile. Strange animals.
Look at these animals. Damn.
Yeah, there's some time traveling beings or beings existing out of time. Let me show you. There's a kind of a funny guy. This guy is like, it's a levitating troll.
Okay, I like that. Also, you're making it as a comic, I can see.
It's a kind of an attempt to be a comic. It's more or less like a story that is being told as a graphic novel, but it's rather primitive.
Yeah.
It just serves to basically make an introduction to that world and universe.
Yeah.
The guys are kind of rough and blah blah blah. There's some machinery, of course, and disappearing people, whatever. Just go for it. It's being paused for some years. I'm still hoping that I will be able to revive it again and maybe one day finish it, give it a kind of more, tangible form.
Definitely you should, because now with VR, I think you can present everything much faster.
And here's the thing, actually. Thank you for mentioning it.
Okay.
Because I made the word. You can actually walk through that island.
Dope.
So it's like a 8 by 8 kilometers.
Yeah.
You can walk in VR through. It's a huge download, but I've used that word kind of use Unreal Engine for that purpose.
Yeah.
As another example, just to kind of map the whole world if everything will work in the right context.
I mean, we are living in a time when
it's exciting, isn't it?
It never was so easy to make your IP. I think it's never was so easy to do it. Like, not easy. Wrong word, but so many opportunities and options to do it. Like, in many ways. Look, you created the whole world and you're moving around it, which is crazy. Here is a graphic novel.
Yeah, it's kind of a. I've printed it out how it would look. So it still requires a lot of work. So it's more like a proof of a concept.
Yeah.
But I would love to get some feedback. So if you guys have a time, just take a look. There's a simple Facebook form here, so you can put some rants there or help me.
So guys, I'm gonna post the link in the comments, machinesofadventure.com, and post some comments what you think about it and what you like. So that would be great.
So
are you still most interested in the vehicles, since you are a vehicle guy, or there is other passions?
Good question. I like vehicles.
Yeah.
And it seems like that the more time spent with them, the more I enjoy it. But on the other side, like human bodies, I like characters as well. And I'm tempted to play more with the environment design as well. But as you know, it's always the time, the way you spend the time is based on your decision. So right now I'm on a different journey, which basically limits or reduces the time I can spend on playing with environments or character design, although I would love to. But I'm focusing mostly on vehicles these days, and mainly on the research related to ideation, sketching, and human brain.
I see. Before we finish the stream, I have two more questions. First question is, where is Mike moving in the future? What's your new things that you're gonna work on, and where you gonna push your career? That's my first question.
Okay, where do I push my career?
You already achieved high achievements like Terminator and made real stuff. Is there anything else that you would like to do except?
You know, mate, I'm hoping it's just a start.
I'm sure it's just a start, but it's a huge achievement.
I just still can't believe that this is happening to me. So I'm super grateful for that.
It's absolutely deserved. It's absolutely deserved.
But those, yeah. So this is definitely part of my journey, which kind of puts me in a position that I'm probably able to make some requests and questions and demand some answers. So I was always struggling to understand why, as a humankind, we are able to create things. What's behind our possibility or ability to sketch and express visually. So I've started to dig into neuroscience and psychology about 4 or 5 years ago, a little bit more intensely, and that actually brought me to another decision point in my life. So this year I've started to be a student again. So I'm pursuing a PhD career, and my vision and dream is to become a full-time researcher in this field, which doesn't disqualify me or remove me from the artwork or from the design work, because all of these things are very related. And I'm doing my PhD at the design school, so its main focus of the research is design related and creativity related. So I will be always here and create the things. And I'm hoping that there will be more projects like Terminator, or maybe more of those that they will give me a chance to go even wilder and crazier. Which I'm not saying that it didn't happen with Tim Miller, because it was an amazing corporation and he gave me a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
So with that said, I would love to combine in the future my research, my search for the answers in the field of creativity and human brain and human bodies and related stuff, and combine it with my art production, artwork. Hopefully it is achievable.
Interesting. I didn't expect you to say that stuff, but it's very interesting. Totally different approach that I hear from most of the artists. So great stuff. And final question before we finish: will we see you anywhere around the world showing on any event this year? You were on THU, you were in Prague, yeah. Splash. I saw you there. Will I see you maybe on Playgrounds, Berlin?
Not in Playgrounds.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I would love to come, but last 3 weeks I was traveling a lot. Last week I was in Italy at the Autovision Design.
Yeah.
Then week before it was THU. Another week before it was Splash in Prague. So there was a bit of too much traveling for me, and I need to focus on my PhD duties, and also on my work. I need to generate some income as well.
Yeah.
And so next few weeks I'll be definitely working out of my studio and doing meetings here. Then there are a few things in my calendar. None of them is confirmed yet, but I'll definitely let you know, guys, if I'll be somewhere, so we can have a beer and talk shit about the neuroscience and art.
Mm. And VR, of course. Meta
And
sketching.
VR, of course, it's a
Of
big part
course.
of it, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it was great pleasure to have you, Mike. I'm
I
sad.
do thank you really for the opportunity to be here. I'm privileged. I feel privileged.
Oh, don't feel privileged. This is just DARMAR stream. Some guy talks about some stuff and he brings amazing guests, so it's all about you guys. No, it's my privilege to have you because I'm truly fan of your work and meta sketching and everything. It's completely different stuff, and I always like different stuff. And the concept art is becoming, everybody is doing similar stuff, and this VR thing is something new. So I had to bring you on the DARMAR stream.
Awesome.
And
Appreciating.
I'm super happy to have you here. And
Thank you.
I'm sure we will repeat this stream one more time, maybe a couple of more times, who knows. And
Yeah.
maybe we can make part 1, part 2, part 3 with you. Maybe you can meta sketch live. That would be also cool. I can
Oh yeah.
comment. I have to apologize one more time to you and the guys for 2 times the internet crashing. I'm gonna call them and probably tell them a lot of bad stuff. And so I apologize. It was a big injustice for this stream because, guys, you saw a lot of cool stuff. We talked about a lot of cool stuff, totally fresh stuff, which I always like. And I hope that Mike has inspired, I'm sure actually, that Mike inspired some of you to try VR if you haven't, and to think differently. So thank you, Mike, one more time for coming.
Thank you.
Guys, this was DARMAR stream. That was Mike Jelinek and his amazing designs and his story about how you should do it. So have a great evening all, and I will see
Have
you
a
on the
great
next
one.
stream. Ciao, Mike. Ciao all.
Ciao, ciao. Cheers. Bye bye.